My name is Kyle. Today, I saw someone I never expected to see again. The person I once loved the most, and the one who hurt me the deepest. Liam, a name I tried so hard to forget. And yet, here he was, standing right in front of me again. I saw him again at Stanford. I slowed down for just a second when I recognized him, my steps almost stopping before I forced myself to keep moving. I wish I could say it didn't matter, that it didn't change anything, but that would be a lie. He looked exactly the same, standing there like nothing between us had ever broken. Or maybe, I just hadn't changed as much as I thought. Before I could walk past him, he stepped forward quickly and reached out, his hand closing around my wrist. I glanced down at his hand first, then slowly looked up at him, keeping my expression steady. I didn't stop right away. There was a time when I would have turned the second he said my name. But that version of me didn't exist anymore. So I pulled my hand back, gently but firmly, breaking the contact. And I walked. That should have been enough. It should have ended there. But then, Kyle. I heard his voice behind me, clear enough to make me pause, even if I didn't turn around. I kept walking. I didn't slow down, but my grip on my bag tightened slightly. "I'm not letting you go again," he said, his voice steady. "I swear." I let out a small breath, my lips curving just slightly before I could stop it. I don't know why I smiled. It wasn't because I believed him, and it definitely wasn't because I forgave him. Maybe it was just familiar. I didn't turn around. I didn't say anything. I just walked into the building, pushing the door open and stepping inside like none of it mattered. Like he didn't matter. But he did. That was the problem. I slowed down once I was inside, my hand tightening slightly around the strap of my bag as I walked down the hallway. Because what happened between us was never as simple as I wanted it to be. I didn't leave because of him. Not exactly. My dad got a new job. We had to move. I remember standing in the kitchen that night, listening without really saying anything, my mind somewhere else entirely. It wasn't even that far. I could have told him. I almost did. But by then, I thought I already knew what I was to him. Someone easy. Someone convenient. Someone he didn't really have to think about. I lowered my gaze slightly as I walked, the memory settling in again whether I wanted it to or not. That kiss. The way he said he would protect me, I thought it meant something. I thought I meant something. But that day, after everything I heard, I went home and cried. I remember sitting on the edge of my bed, my hands pressed against my face, trying to make sense of something that didn't make sense anymore. Not because I was leaving, but because I realized I had been wrong. I was supposed to tell him that night. I was supposed to say goodbye. I even went to his house. I stood outside for a long time, my hand half raised like I was about to knock. But I didn't. I slowly lowered my hand, stepping back instead, because I thought I already had my answer. Why would someone like him ever choose someone like me? So I left. No goodbye. No explanation. Just silence. And somewhere between who I was back then and who I became, I learned how to stop waiting. I adjusted my sleeve absent-mindedly as I walked down the hallway, my expression returning to something calm, something controlled. The person he saw at Stanford wasn't the same one he left behind. The next day, I saw him again. I noticed him before I even reached the building, standing in the same place outside my classroom, leaning lightly against the wall like he had been there for a while, like he had nowhere else to be. I slowed down slightly as I approached, my steps quieter against the ground, but I didn't stop. Not yet. For a second, I thought about turning around, taking a different path, avoiding him entirely, but I didn't. I kept walking, because avoiding him would have been too easy, and I was done choosing the easy way out. "Don't," he said. I heard his voice before I even passed him, calm but steady. I stopped. Not immediately, just a step later. I closed my eyes for a brief second, then turned to look at him. He was already watching me. I stopped near the door and turned slightly toward him, keeping a bit of distance. "You're going to be late," I said, keeping my tone even as I faced him. He didn't move from the wall. "I know," he replied. I frowned slightly, shifting my weight to one side. "And you're still here," I added. He gave a small nod, his expression not changing. "I am." There was no hesitation in his voice. No uncertainty. Just a simple answer, like it was obvious. I crossed my arms lightly, more out of habit than intention, keeping myself guarded. "Why?" I asked, watching him carefully. He didn't answer right away. Instead, he pushed himself off the wall slowly, standing up straight as he looked at me. He took a small breath, like he was choosing his words more carefully this time. "Because you're here," he said. I held his gaze for a second, then looked away, like I didn't want to give that answer any weight. That wasn't a good answer. It wasn't even a real answer, but it didn't sound like a lie either, and that made it worse. I looked away first, glancing toward the classroom door behind me. "You should go," I said, my voice quieter now. "I will," he replied. I turned back to him slightly, narrowing my eyes just a little. "Then go," I said. He didn't move. Not right away. Instead, he looked at me, steady, like he was waiting for something. "After you," he said. I let out a small breath through my nose, almost like a quiet laugh I didn't allow to fully form. I shook my head slightly. "You don't get to do that," I said. He tilted his head just a little, like he didn't fully understand. "Do what?" he asked. I met his eyes again, my expression tightening slightly. "Act like this is normal," I said. He didn't react immediately. He just looked at me thinking. "It's not," he said quietly. "Then stop acting like it is," I replied. There was a pause, a real one. Neither of us spoke. "I'm not," he said after a moment. He shifted his stance slightly, his hands relaxing at his sides. "I'm trying." I looked at him for a second longer than I meant to, just enough to notice that he wasn't as calm as he looked, just enough to realize this wasn't easy for him either. And I hated that I noticed. I broke eye contact first, turning toward the classroom. "I have class," I said, stepping past him. "So do I," he replied. I stopped for a brief second when I passed him, but I didn't turn around. Then I kept walking. I pushed the door open and stepped inside, letting it close behind me. But even as I walked toward my seat, I could still feel it. That sense of something unfinished. Like I had left something behind outside that door. I told myself it didn't matter, that this didn't change anything, that whatever this was, it would end the same way it did before. But when I sat down, I still found myself glancing at the door. Just once. He wasn't there. Of course he wasn't. I looked away immediately, forcing myself to focus on something else. Still, something felt different. Like this wasn't over. And the worst part was, I wasn't sure I wanted it to be. He was there again the next day. I noticed him the moment I turned the corner toward the building, standing in the exact same spot, leaning against the wall like he had never left. Like yesterday had simply continued into today. I slowed down for just a second, then forced myself to keep walking. I told myself I wouldn't stop this time, that I would just walk past him like none of it mattered. And for a moment, I did. I walked straight toward the door, keeping my eyes forward, pretending I didn't see him. "Are you going to keep ignoring me?" His voice followed me before I reached the entrance. I didn't answer. I kept walking. My hand reached for the door, but I didn't push it open right away. I stood there for half a second longer than I should have. Then I stopped. I let out a quiet breath, my shoulders tensing slightly before I turned around. "That depends," I said, looking at him directly now. I kept my expression controlled, not letting anything slip. "Are you going to keep standing there every day?" He pushed himself off the wall slowly, straightening up as he faced me. "I can," he replied. His tone wasn't challenging, just certain. I frowned slightly, shifting my weight as I watched him. "That's not an answer," I said. He took a small step forward, then stopped, leaving enough distance between us. "It is," he said. I held his gaze for a second, then looked away briefly, annoyed that he wasn't backing down. "You're wasting your time," I said. I crossed my arms lightly, creating a barrier between us. "You should go." He didn't move, not even a little. Instead, he looked at me more carefully this time, like he was trying to understand something deeper than what I was saying. "You didn't walk away yesterday," he said. I froze for just a second when he said that, my expression tightening before I forced myself to recover. Barely noticeable, but enough for him to see it. "That doesn't mean anything," I replied, keeping my voice steady. "It means you stopped," he said. He tilted his head slightly, watching my reaction. I didn't answer, because he wasn't wrong, and I didn't like that. I looked away again, glancing toward the door behind me. "I had time," I said. "That's all." He studied me for a moment, then nodded slightly, like he understood more than I wanted him to. "Then I'll wait again," he said. I turned back to him immediately, my expression tightening. "That's not what I said," I replied. "I know," he said. He didn't hesitate this time. "I'm saying it." There was a pause, a longer one. Neither of us spoke. I could feel it again, that same tension from yesterday, only stronger now, like something was pulling us into the same place whether we wanted it or not. I let out a slow breath and turned away first. "I'm not doing this with you," I said, pushing the door open. I stepped inside, but I didn't close the door right away. I stood there for just a second, my hand still on the handle. Then I let it go. The door closed behind me. As I walked down the hallway, I told myself it didn't matter, that he would eventually stop, that he would get tired. But part of me already knew that wasn't true, because if he was still here after everything, he wasn't going anywhere. And somehow, that made it harder to walk away. By the third day, it didn't feel like coincidence anymore. Felt like a pattern. I saw him from a distance again, standing in the same place outside my classroom, exactly where I expected him to be. This time, I didn't slow down. Not at first. I kept my pace steady, my eyes forward, telling myself I was just going to walk past him like I had planned. But the closer I got, the harder that became, because he didn't move. He didn't call out. He didn't try to stop me. He just watched. And somehow, that was worse. I stopped a few steps away from him before I could stop myself. I exhaled quietly, then looked at him directly. "You're not even going to say anything?" I asked, my tone sharper than I intended. He tilted his head slightly, like he had expected me to speak first. "I thought you didn't want me to," he said. His voice was calm, almost too calm. I frowned, crossing my arms again without thinking. "I don't," I replied. He nodded once, like he accepted that answer. Then he looked at me more closely. "Then why did you stop?" he asked. I didn't answer right away. I looked away for a second, my jaw tightening slightly, because I knew exactly why, and I didn't want to say it out loud. "Don't turn this into something it's not," I said finally, keeping my voice controlled. He pushed himself off the wall slowly, standing straight as he faced me fully. "I'm not turning it into anything," he replied. He took a small step forward, careful not to close the distance completely. "I'm just here." I looked at him directly this time, my expression tightening. "That's the problem," I said. The words slipped out before I could stop them. His expression shifted, just slightly. Not surprised, but aware. "Why?" he asked, his voice lower now. I shook my head, taking a small step back. "You don't get to ask me that," I said. "I think I do," he replied. He didn't raise his voice. He didn't push harder, but he didn't back down either. "No," I said more firmly this time. "You don't." I held his gaze, making sure he understood. "You don't get to come back and act like this is normal," I added. He looked at me for a second, like he was choosing his words carefully. It's not, he said quietly. Then stop acting like it is, I replied. There was a pause, a longer one this time. Neither of us spoke. I'm not, he said after a moment. He shifted his weight slightly, his shoulders no longer as relaxed. I'm trying. I looked at him, really looked at him this time. Long enough to notice the tension in his posture. Long enough to realize this wasn't easy for him either. And I hated that I noticed. I looked away first, breaking the moment. You should go, I said, my voice quieter now. He didn't move. I will, he replied, but he stayed where he was. I let out a slow breath, shaking my head slightly. Then I stepped past him, brushing close enough to feel the space between us again. I didn't stop, didn't turn, but just as I passed him, "You're still here," he said. I stopped, just for a second. I didn't turn around. "I never left," he added, his voice softer now. I closed my eyes briefly, then opened them again. I didn't respond. I didn't move right away either. And that hesitation, that one small pause, said more than anything I could have said out loud. By the fourth day, I should have been used to it. I should have been able to walk past him without thinking. But I wasn't. I saw him again before I even reached the building, standing in the same place, leaning against the wall like nothing about this routine had changed. Like he had already decided he would be here. No matter what I did. I slowed down without meaning to. Just slightly. Just enough to notice. And that was all it took. He looked up the moment I got closer, his eyes finding mine immediately, like he had been waiting for that exact second. I stopped a few steps away, letting out a quiet breath as I looked at him. "Are you always this early?" I asked, keeping my tone neutral. He straightened slightly, pushing himself off the wall as he faced me more directly. "Only when it matters," he replied. His voice wasn't teasing. It wasn't light. It was steady. That made it worse. I shook my head slightly, but I didn't look away from him. "This doesn't matter," I said. He didn't argue. He didn't correct me. He just looked at me, really looked this time, and that made it harder to ignore. "Then why are you still here?" I added, folding my arms lightly across my chest. He took a step forward, slow enough that I could have walked away. But I didn't. "Because you haven't told me to leave," he said. I frowned slightly, tightening my arms instinctively. "I just did," I replied. He shook his head once, calmly. "No," he said. "You told me this doesn't matter." He held my gaze, not backing down. "That's not the same thing." I exhaled slowly, my shoulders tensing. "Same difference," I said. "It's not," he replied. He didn't raise his voice. He didn't push harder. But he stayed exactly where he was. And somehow, that felt stronger than anything else he had done so far. I looked away again, my jaw tightening slightly. I didn't like this. I didn't like how easy it was for him to stay. "You're making this harder than it needs to be," I said. "I know," he replied. I turned back to him immediately, caught off guard by how quickly he answered. He didn't look away. Then his voice softened slightly. "I know," he repeated. He held my gaze when he said it, not looking away this time. "And I'm still here." I didn't have anything to say to that. Nothing that would actually push him back. Because the truth was, he wasn't wrong. And that made it worse. I let out a slow breath and stepped past him. "I have class," I said, keeping my voice steady. He nodded once. "I know." I paused for half a second when I passed him, then kept walking. I didn't turn around. I didn't stop. But I felt it. That same pull. Stronger now. More familiar. Like something I had been trying to ignore was getting harder to hold back. I pushed the door open and stepped inside, letting it close behind me. As I walked down the hallway, I kept my eyes forward, told myself this didn't change anything, that I was still in control. But when I reached my classroom door, I slowed down again. just slightly, because part of me, no matter how much I tried to deny it, was starting to wonder how long I could keep pretending. By the 5th day, something shifted. Not around us, but between us. I saw him again outside the building, exactly where he had been every morning this week. But this time, I didn't slow down. I didn't stop. I walked straight past him, my steps steady, my eyes forward like I had already decided how this was going to end. "Kyle." I heard his voice behind me, firmer than it had been before. I kept walking. "I'm serious this time," he said. There was something in his tone that made me hesitate, just for a second, and that was all it took. I felt his hand close around my wrist, stronger than before, not careful, not hesitant. I stopped immediately and turned, my eyes dropping to his hand before lifting to his face. "Let go," I said, keeping my voice calm. He didn't release me. Instead, he held my gaze, steady, like he had already made up his mind. "Not this time," he replied. I pulled slightly, testing his grip, but he didn't tighten it. He just didn't let go. "You don't get to decide that," I said, my expression hardening. "I'm not deciding," he said. He shook his head slightly, his voice quieter now, but no less firm. "I'm asking you to stay." I let out a short breath, glancing away for a moment before looking back at him. "That's not what this feels like," I said. "I know," he admitted. For a second, neither of us moved. Then, without saying anything else, he started walking, still holding my wrist. I resisted at first, my body pulling back just enough to show I wasn't okay with it. I could have pulled away. He wasn't holding me that tightly. I just didn't. "Liam," I started, my voice sharper now, but I didn't finish, because I didn't pull away completely, and he noticed. He slowed slightly, not dragging me, just guiding, leading me away from the main path, away from the crowd, toward a quieter part of campus. We stopped near the empty steps behind one of the buildings. He let go of my wrist slowly this time, like he didn't want to push too far, but didn't want to lose this either. I rubbed my wrist lightly without thinking, then looked at him. "What is this?" I asked. He didn't answer immediately. He took a step back, giving me space, then gestured slightly toward the steps. "Sit," he said. I didn't move. I just looked at him, waiting. "I'm not here to force anything," he added quickly. His voice had softened now. "I just need you to listen." I held his gaze for a few seconds, trying to decide if this was another mistake or something different. Then I sat down, not because he told me to, but because I chose to. He sat across from me, not too close, his posture more careful than before. For once, "I'm not going to pretend nothing happened," he said. I didn't respond. I just watched him, waiting. "I know I messed that up," he continued, his hands resting loosely together. "You heard things that day." "Yes," I replied. My voice was quiet, but steady. He nodded once. "And you believed them." "I had no reason not to," I said, meeting his eyes. He looked down briefly, then back at me. "I didn't say it the way you think I did," he said. "That doesn't change what I heard," I replied. "I know," he said. There was a pause, a real one. He exhaled slowly before continuing. "I'm not here to fix everything in one day," he said. He leaned forward slightly, his elbows resting on his knees, his voice lower now. "I just don't want you to think none of it was real." That made me pause. I looked at him differently for a moment. "And if I still think that?" I asked. He didn't look away. He didn't hesitate. "Then I'll stay," he said. His voice was steady, not loud, not dramatic. "Until you don't." I felt something shift again. Not enough to trust him, not enough to forgive him, but enough to stop walking away. I looked down for a second, then back at him. For the first time since he came back, I didn't want to leave. By the 6th day, I knew he would be there. Not because I saw him yet, but because part of me was already expecting it. I walked toward the building at my usual pace, my eyes scanning the area without meaning to. He wasn't standing by the wall this time. That made me pause, just slightly. Then I saw him. He was sitting on the low steps nearby, leaning forward with his elbows resting on his knees, his hands loosely clasped together. He looked up when he heard my footsteps. For a second, neither of us said anything. I slowed down, then stopped a few steps away, keeping a small distance between us. "You're not standing there today," I said, my voice quieter than usual. He gave a small nod, straightening slightly as he looked at me. "I thought I'd try something different," he replied. He glanced briefly at the empty space beside him, then back at me. "I didn't want you to feel like you had to stop." I looked at the step he had glanced at, then back at him. "You think this is better?" I asked. He didn't smile. He didn't try to soften it. "I think this is honest," he said. That word again. Honest. I let out a slow breath, then moved a step closer before sitting down, leaving a small space between us. Not too close, not too far, just enough. For a moment, we both looked ahead instead of at each other. The space between us felt quieter than before, less tense, but not easy. "I've been thinking about what you said," I began, keeping my gaze forward. He shifted slightly, turning his body toward me, but he didn't interrupt. "That day," I continued, my voice steady, "what I heard, it wasn't just what you said." I paused, choosing my words carefully. "It was what I thought it meant." He lowered his gaze slightly, his hands tightening together for a moment before relaxing again. "I know," he said quietly. I turned to look at him. "Do you?" I asked. He nodded once, slower this time. "I didn't explain it right," he said. He looked back at me, holding my gaze. "And I didn't fix it when I had the chance." I studied his face for a second, long enough to see that he wasn't trying to defend himself, just telling the truth. "I thought you were embarrassed," I said. The words came out softer than I expected. "Of me?" He shook his head immediately. "No," he said. Then he paused, like he knew that wasn't enough. He leaned forward slightly, resting his elbows on his knees again, his voice lower now. "I didn't know how to say it in front of them," he admitted. I didn't answer. I just watched him. "I liked you," he said. He stopped for a second, then shook his head slightly, correcting himself. "No, that's not right." He let out a quiet breath, his expression shifting slightly as he looked at me. "You think I just ended up here by accident?" he said quietly. For a second, I didn't know what to say. He took a breath, then looked at me again. He held my gaze when he said it, like he wasn't going to take it back. "I still do." I didn't react immediately. I didn't look away, but I didn't say anything either, because I knew if I did, I wouldn't be able to take it back. He shifted slightly closer, slowly enough that I could have stopped him. I didn't. "Say something," he said quietly. I let out a breath, my eyes finally dropping for a second before I looked back at him. "You don't get to say that and expect it to fix everything," I replied. "I know," he said immediately. He didn't hesitate. "I'm not trying to fix it." He held my gaze steady. "I just don't want to lie to you again." That made me pause. I looked at him for a long second, then away again. "Do you even know what you're asking?" I asked. He didn't answer right away. He held my gaze steady, like he had already made up his mind. "Yes," he said quietly. I frowned slightly, watching him carefully. "And?" I asked. He took a slow breath, leaning forward just a little, his eyes never leaving mine. His voice dropped slightly. "And I'm still here," he said. There was no hesitation in his voice this time. No doubt. Just certainty. I felt something shift again. Not sudden. Not overwhelming. Just there. I turned back to him slowly. And this time I didn't step away. By the 7th day, I stopped pretending it didn't matter. Not to him, but to myself. That was enough. I didn't expect to see him that afternoon. Not outside the classroom. Not near the usual place. So when I walked past the small park just off campus and saw him sitting on a bench, I slowed down without meaning to. He wasn't looking at me at first. He was leaning forward slightly, his elbows resting on his knees, his gaze fixed somewhere ahead like he had been thinking about something for a while. Then he noticed me. He lifted his head, his eyes finding mine immediately. But he didn't call my name. He didn't stand up. He just stayed where he was, waiting. I stopped a few feet away, keeping a small distance between us. "You're not waiting outside my class today," I said, my voice calm, but quieter than usual. He straightened slightly, his hands resting loosely together as he looked at me. "I thought I'd try something different," he replied. He glanced briefly at the empty space beside him on the bench, then back at me. "I didn't want you to feel like you had to stop." I looked at the bench for a moment, then back at him. "You think this is better?" I asked. He didn't smile. He didn't try to make it lighter. "I think this is honest," he said. That word again. Honest. I let out a slow breath, then stepped closer and sat down, leaving a small space between us. Not too close, not too far, just enough. For a few seconds, neither of us spoke. We both looked ahead instead of at each other. Like saying it out loud might make it harder. "I've been thinking about what you said," I began, keeping my gaze forward. He shifted slightly beside me, turning just enough to face me, but he didn't interrupt. "That day," I continued, my voice steady, "what I heard, it wasn't just what you said." I paused briefly, choosing my words. "It was what I thought it meant." He lowered his gaze slightly, his fingers tightening together for a moment before relaxing again. "I know," he said quietly. I turned my head and looked at him. "Do you?" I asked. He nodded once, slower this time. "I didn't explain it right," he said. He lifted his head and met my eyes. "And I didn't fix it when I had the chance." I watched him carefully, long enough to see he wasn't trying to defend himself, just admitting it. "I thought you were embarrassed," I said. My voice came out softer than I intended. "Of me?" He shook his head immediately. "No," he said. Then he paused, like he knew that wasn't enough. He leaned forward slightly, resting his elbows on his knees again, his voice lower now. "I didn't know how to say it in front of them," he admitted. I didn't respond. I just watched him. "I liked you," he said. He stopped for a second, then shook his head slightly. "No, that's not right." He took a breath, then looked at me again, more certain this time. "I still do." Something in my chest tightened. I didn't move. I didn't look away. But I didn't answer either. Because I knew if I said something now, I wouldn't be able to take it back. He shifted slightly closer, slowly enough that I could have stopped him. I didn't. "Say something," he said quietly. I let out a slow breath, my gaze dropping for a second before I looked back at him. "You don't get to say that and expect it to fix everything," I replied. "I know," he said immediately. He didn't hesitate. "I'm not trying to fix it." He held my gaze steady. "I just don't want to lie to you again." I looked at him for a long second. Then I looked away, my thoughts catching up with me. "Do you even know what you're asking?" I asked. He didn't answer right away. He held my gaze steady, like he had already made his decision. "Yes," he said quietly. I frowned slightly, watching him carefully. "And?" I asked. He took a slow breath, leaning forward just a little, his eyes still on mine. "And I'm still here," he said. There was no hesitation in his voice, no doubt, just certainty. I felt it then, that pull I had been trying to ignore all week. Not sudden, not overwhelming, just there. I turned toward him slowly, and this time I didn't step away. He noticed. Of course he did. His hand lifted slightly, hesitating for a brief moment before moving closer to mine. I watched his hand for a second. I didn't pull back. That was all it took. He leaned in slowly, stopping just close enough for me to pull away if I wanted to. He gave me time to say no. I didn't. And when his lips touched mine, I didn't freeze. I didn't question it. I didn't push him away. Because for the first time since he came back, I wasn't trying to protect myself from him. I just closed my eyes and stayed. For a few seconds after the kiss, neither of us moved. I kept my eyes closed for a moment longer than I needed to, my breathing slower now, like I was trying to hold on to something before it changed. When I finally opened my eyes, he was still there. Close, but not too close. Just enough that I could see the hesitation in his expression. Like he was waiting for me to pull away, or say something, or regret it. I didn't do any of that. Instead, I stayed where I was and looked at him properly, taking in the way he was watching me so carefully. "You shouldn't have done that," I said quietly. My voice wasn't angry. It wasn't cold. Just honest. He didn't argue. He didn't try to defend himself. Instead, he gave a small nod, like he had already expected that reaction. "I know," he said. His voice was low, steady. He shifted slightly, sitting up straighter and putting a bit of space between us. "I just didn't want to leave today without being honest," he added. I watched him as he spoke, noticing the way he didn't look away this time. Not like before. "And that was honest?" I asked, tilting my head slightly as I studied him. He nodded once. "Yes," he said. Then he paused, his fingers tightening slightly against his own hand, like he was choosing his next words carefully. "And I'm not taking it back." I held his gaze for a long moment, letting that settle. Part of me wanted to step back, to create distance again, to go back to something safer, something familiar. But another part of me, the part one had been trying to ignore all week, didn't want that anymore. I let out a slow breath and leaned back slightly, resting my hands on the edge of the bench. "You said you wouldn't let me go again," I said. My voice was softer now, not defensive. He looked at me immediately when I spoke, his posture shifting forward slightly. "I meant it," he said. He leaned forward, resting his elbows on his knees, his attention completely on me. "I remember everything you told me," he continued. His voice stayed steady, but there was something heavier behind it now. "The places you talked about, the school you wanted." He shook his head slightly, a faint, almost disbelieving smile appearing for just a second. "I didn't just come back," he said. "I worked to get here." I felt something tighten in my chest again, different from before. I looked away briefly, taking a second to process that, then turned back to him. "You're serious?" I said. It wasn't really a question. He nodded once. "I am. No hesitation." No doubt. Just that. I sat there for a moment, letting the silence settle between us. But this time it didn't feel heavy. It didn't feel like something was breaking. It felt like something had finally made sense. I shifted slightly closer to him. Not much. Just enough. He noticed. Of course he did. But he didn't move toward me. He didn't rush it. He waited. I looked at him again, holding his gaze this time. "Then don't let me go again," I said quietly. The words came out before I could rethink them, before I could take them back. For a second, he didn't react. Then something in his expression changed. Not surprise, not relief, just certainty. He held my gaze when he said it, not looking away this time. "I won't." His voice was steady, grounded, and for the first time since he came back, I believed him. I didn't step away. I didn't look down. I stayed right there, letting the moment settle without trying to control it. Because this time, I wasn't running, and neither was he. We sat there for a while after that, not saying much. We didn't need to. The silence wasn't heavy anymore. It wasn't something to fill. It was just there, like everything that needed to be said had already been. I glanced at him once more, then let my hand rest closer to his without thinking. He noticed. Slowly, carefully, he let his hand move just enough to meet mine. He didn't rush it. He didn't tighten his grip. He just held it. And I didn't pull away, because this time we didn't let go.